Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Today, we're diving into the turbulent seas of the Chinese electric vehicle (EV) industry. Over the past decade, China's government has been fueling its EV sector with billions of dollars, aiming to take pole position in the new automotive race. However, the road to success is proving to be more of a winding mountain pass than a straight highway. The Bankruptcy Tsunami. When China hit the accelerator on electric cars, the industry went from 0 to 100 real quick. Government subsidies sparked a surge of around 500 startup companies. But as we all know, what goes up must come down. Just a few years later, the number of registered EV companies dropped to around 90. Even for a market as vast as China, that's a crowded highway. The past few years have seen the industry's challenges shift gears, leading to a wave of bankruptcies. In recent months alone, 4 EV companies and hundreds of dealers have hit the brakes for good. Among the casualties is Neutron, which chose to refund all customers and exit the race. Letton, once a front-runner that outpaced Tesla in sales during 2015 and 2016, has also run out of gas. Perhaps the most shocking is the recent bankruptcy of Evergrande New Energy Auto, an EV division of one of the world's largest conglomerates. After investing billions over the years, it turns out the company was losing a staggering $17 million on every vehicle sold. But before we delve deeper into that, let's take a pit stop to look at another recent case. The WM wreck. WM, another recent bankruptcy filer, was once considered a promising contender in China's EV race. Backed by major Chinese companies like Baidu and Tencent, it was one of the wealthiest startups in the pit lane, alongside NIO. Despite a funding injection of over $5.3 billion, WM couldn't secure a spot on China's highly competitive EV grid. The pressure on Chinese EV makers to produce cutting-edge yet affordable products is immense. Add to that the financial struggles brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, which ignited an even fiercer price war, and WM found itself in the breakdown lane. Despite significant losses totaling $1.2 billion, Caixin Auto Holdings announced plans to acquire WM. However, the recent bankruptcy filing has thrown a spanner in the works. WM Motor, meanwhile, has announced plans for a major overhaul and is on the hunt for new investors, aiming to reinvent itself, as officials stated. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. This helps us reach more auto enthusiasts just like you. Now, let's shift gears and steer towards our next point. The big players are not immune. The Chinese EV market is a battlefield, with a price war that's taking no prisoners. While smaller companies are the first to fall, it's intriguing to see that even the big players are feeling the heat. They too need fresh investments to stay in the race. In short, capital is everyone's problem. Take NIO, for instance. This leading EV company in China boasts over 11,000 employees. However, their sales figures are not as impressive as their workforce. The second quarter of last year was particularly rough, with only 8,000 units sold. Despite being a large-scale manufacturer that invested millions in factory robots and offers some of China's most advanced EVs, complete with self-driving systems and augmented reality glasses, their sales numbers are still too low to offset their production costs. As a result, NIO reported losses of $35,000 per EV sold in that quarter. With sales plummeting on such a grand scale, some moves were predictable, like the capital infusion from Abu Dhabi in exchange for a 7% stake and a substantial financial boost from the local government of Hefei. Meanwhile, the founder and CEO, William Li, faced the wrath of fans at a customer gala dinner. The Cutthroat Competition. The Chinese market is a battleground for EV companies. Even major players like Li Auto, known for their high-end, high-tech electric crossovers, are struggling to compete without losing money on every EV sold. This is exacerbated by new startups like Aito, which offers models with similar features to Li Auto's L7, but at a significantly lower price. In this fiercely competitive market, every company is losing money. Startups, except those state-owned, are particularly vulnerable. Many, like Evergrande New Energy Auto, Airways, and Neutron, have already closed their factories, while the state-owned FAW Group filed for bankruptcy last year. Only startups backed by major companies like Zeekr, established by Geely, stand a chance of survival. Zeekr aims to break into the international market with a two-pronged strategy: luxury EVs for Asia and Europe, and robotaxis in North America. Finally, let's talk about the Evergrande New Energy Vehicle Group. Once one of the highest-valued car companies in the world, it ended its journey with a sales record of 1,300 electric vehicles and a massive loss of nearly $24 billion. This equates to a loss of $17 million on every vehicle sold. Enough to shut its doors? Absolutely. The small fish in the big pond. The Chinese automotive industry is experiencing turbulence. Despite this, China is likely to retain its leadership in the EV industry, but with a drastically changing landscape. The number of EV companies has dropped from 500 in 2019 to around 90 today. And this trend is set to continue due to the relentless price war and the constant need for technological advancement. The market share is dominated by a few companies, with around 80% of total EV sales from last year belonging to the top 10 EV companies. The leading position belongs to BYD, a company whose sales numbers are in the millions. However, out of those 90 EV makers, at least a third sell no more than 2,000 EVs annually. Experts predict that at least 20 more companies are on the brink of bankruptcy. The survivors of these turbulent times are likely to be companies like BYD and Tesla, who have the capacity for a long-term price war. Their production costs are low, and they're probably the only ones that can sacrifice profitability for volume. Then there are companies like Geely, which may not have impressive sales records in China, but have a strong presence in international markets. China may be leading the world in EV technology, but its domestic market isn't developed enough to accommodate such a sheer number of companies. Modest consumer spending is a death sentence for local companies, so even those who were seen as more likely to succeed end up stranded. The COVID-19 pandemic, capital market downturn, cost of raw materials, and a shortage of funds are leading to a complete transformation of the Chinese EV industry landscape. Soon enough, the industry will be dominated by a few major manufacturers, just like in most other parts of the world. Meanwhile, we'll be witnessing a lot of turmoil. Thank you for tuning into Piston Pundit. Don't forget to subscribe to stay in the loop with the latest vehicle updates and upcoming videos. Keep your engines revving and see you next time.